Hey guys, I just wanted to do something that I've been meaning to do. Kind of weird for me to do, but it's kind of just me documenting this is me more talking about the stage of life that I'm in right now. I wanted to do this at the very beginning of the new year. So this year is now 2026. March. It is March 20th, 2026. And I kind of just wanted to, just talk about the stage of life that I'm in, or the things that I feel like I'm learning and going through and experiencing, because I'm not always going to be in this stage of life, and this is kind of something for me to just go back and look at or to reflect on, but that's kind of the main purpose of this video. So right now I feel like I'm going through this waiting season, or this time of life where I'm just having to go through a lot of the things that I don't want to be going through, and things that are really hard for me to be going through, I guess you could say. Right now I'm going through a season of having to just wait for things that I really want in my life. You know, there's this thing that I've been wanting for like so long, and now I'm having to wait for that. And yesterday, the school does like prayer groups on Thursdays. So yesterday I went to prayer group when I really didn't want to go because I was just so tired and stuff like that. But I went to prayer group, and she was just talking about how, you know, in those seasons of life where we're going through waiting seasons and stuff like that, it's really important that we start depending on God rather than running to the things that we want. You know, and I just thought that was really good, because I have a tendency to run to the things that I want rather than really just depending on the Lord. And so I feel like that's the season of life where I'm at, which I think is a very beautiful season, because it gives me the ability to depend on the Lord even when it's hard. And there's days that I'm going to mess up, and days where it's a lot harder than others, but that's just kind of where I'm at. Other than that, you know, I feel very blessed to have another day, you know, to experience life and to feel things and to experience things. I'm a person that feels very deeply. I'm very, I don't know the right word for it exactly, but I like to think that I feel things deeply. I like to really just be in the moment, you know, and sometimes I might like overthink that, I guess, but I don't know if it's like a bad or good thing. I will say in circumstances it can be a bad thing, where I'm just like overthinking things and driving myself crazy. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't know what I'm trying to say exactly, but yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I guess for instance, like right now, like, you know, I'm having a moment right now where I'm just reflecting on like what is going on around me, and I just feel very fortunate to just have another day to experience things and just to be where I'm at. I feel very fortunate. You know, I feel very blessed to be going to college, you know, and it's kind of silly because a lot of the people that I talk to, you know, or that ask me like, oh, like, what are you majoring in? And I say education, they think that I'm kind of setting myself up for failure in the future, I guess you can say. I mean, they don't say that directly to my face, obviously, but it's kind of just comments like, oh, like, you're not gonna be making any money, or, you know, But never once in my life have I ever, like, has that thought ever crossed my mind when I chose to go into education, you know? I felt more like it was a calling in my life. I love kids, and I grew up with a lot of amazing teachers, you know? Like, I didn't have the very best growing up atmosphere, and so having teachers that were very loving and compassionate on me kind of just like drew me to want to be that safe space for other people, you know? And I think educators have a very big impact on people, you know? Like, I wouldn't be here in college or speaking the way I speak or reading my Bible and just reading in general, you know, if it weren't for teachers teaching me how to do that. Or, you know, teachers being a great impact on me. Like in high school or in middle school when I was like acting out, you know, in ways that I shouldn't have been. You know, like I had teachers that believed in me and teachers that knew I could do better. So that's kind of why I chose education. And so money was never really the thing that I was chasing after. And to this day, it's still not something that I worry about. So I don't know why I went on that tangent, but we just ended up there somehow. Oh, because I was talking about school. But yeah, I feel very lucky to be in college and just be surrounded by the girls that I'm surrounded by. I have made so many great friendships being here. Being in college is such a weird yet fun thing to navigate. You know, like, I don't know. It's just all the girls that I'm surrounded by, you know, like we all have different callings, or like even if we are like both like education majors, like it's so interesting to see like why they chose what they chose, you know. And a lot of the girls that I'm surrounded by, they're very genuine people, they're very uplifting people, and that's something I appreciate so much because they encourage me to just be better, you know. And yeah, because in middle school I never really had that, you know, people to encourage me to do better. I mean, besides my mom, but I was in middle school, so I never really listened. So now I just have, you know, those people like asking me like how I'm doing and asking how they can be praying for me, and I just have very good friends, and I feel very fortunate. Like today I got Starbucks with Beth, and we just got to have just really good talks, you know, and she's just been a blessing in my life, and I feel very lucky to have a friend like her. Starbucks today came out with like this coconut cold brew, and so that's what I got from Starbucks. It is a grande iced coconut cold brew with no vanilla because they put vanilla in it, so I got no vanilla. And instead I got 2 pumps of white chocolate mocha. I don't know why I said it like that, but I think it's very good. And then they put like that's disgusting. They put the coconut cold foam on top of it. Let's see, what else? I am trying right now to build my relationship with the Lord. It's something that I struggle with, and I'm not quite sure why. I actually think I do know why. I think it's because I feel like I have to present myself a certain way to Him, or I have to feel good enough or worthy enough, you know, and that feeling obviously is not from the Lord, because the Lord doesn't demand that from us. He doesn't ask that of us. I think it's just when I fall short or I stop reading my devotions, I feel like, oh my gosh, like I can't read my Bible now because, you know, like it's just embarrassing, you know, and I just run from it and I hide from it so much. It's just a lie that I tell myself, and so that's something I'm trying to learn and get myself out of, and obviously there's only one solution to that. So that's something I'm trying to do more. And so I actually just finished the book of Ruth, which I thought was very good, because growing up in church, like, I've always heard the story of Ruth, but I've never read it for myself. Just seeing how, you know, Ruth had lost her husband, and Naomi, her mother-in-law, let her go, but she decided to stay and go back with Naomi, and there she met Boaz, and they had their son. Without that lineage, you know, like, obviously, like, God could have used anybody, but from that lineage, you know. And it just was very interesting to me because she had lost her husband, you know, and Naomi let her go, but she decided to stay. And, you know, God used that. And I'm sure that circumstance for her was very confusing, you know, like, as to why she lost her husband. Because if obviously, like, I'm not Ruth, I feel like if I lost my husband one day, I'd be very confused and be like, why, you know. But God ultimately uses absolutely everything, and even when we're not walking in the right path, he still uses that for the greater good, you know, if we allow him to. Because, like, all throughout middle school, you know, like, was that a very bad time of my life. But looking back on it now, like, I just use that as a testimony, you know, as to what God brought me out of. Because I'm no longer that person, and I no longer do the same things that I used to do in middle school. So I feel like that's a praise within itself. There's about 7 more weeks left of school, so 49 more days, and then I'll be home. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to summer. I'm looking forward to being back with my family. I miss them all very much. Abby is doing good. She is 5 months now, and Elijah is 2 years old and talking a whole lot more, and he's such a total boy. He's so funny. And Marie is still Marie. She's crazy, and she's full of life and love, and I love her so much, and I just miss her so much. She's growing. She is now 13. She's now a teenager. So that is so insane to just even think about. So I cut my hair. Well, Lauren cut my hair. Lauren is a new friend I made, and I love her. She's so sweet, and she's just such a joy to be around. She reminds me so much of the color yellow. Like, if you asked me to describe Lauren, I would just say yellow. Like, yellow is so bright and fun, and it just makes you so joyful to look at. She's like not this yellow, but like a pastel yellow, you know, like, she's just cute. She cut my hair, and I love it. It's short again. She cut about like 12 inches off, so I would say it's shorter. And then tonight, the school is doing Moving on the Lawn. Sunset Cinema is what they call it, I guess. I don't know. But we're watching How to Train Your Dragon. I've actually never seen it before, so that's a lie. I feel like I have, but I was just like very young. So yeah, in my devotions though, I started the book of Esther, and so I haven't gotten very far. I only read the first chapter, so I'm gonna do that right now. I just wanted to make like this video before, because I feel like I've been postponing it a lot. I love the Bible, but I always feel like I just catch myself in slumps because I try reading. Well, I've always only read the New Testament, which is not bad, but I feel like I just want to start reading the Old Testament. And so I started in the book of Isaiah, and I don't know how far I got, but it was just so hard for me to read. And I tried talking to my mom about it. Well, I did talk to my mom about it, and she was like, oh yeah, like, that's such a hard one to get through. I was like, yeah, like, I don't know why it was so hard for me to like get through, but every time I would like read it, like, I would read it and I would always learn something, but it was just so hard for me to read. And so I was just in like these constant slumps because I could just never get myself to read it. But I only got to Isaiah 13, and if I'm correct, there's about like 51 chapters. No, 66. I was so far off. There's 66 chapters in the book of Isaiah, and I only made it to 13. So that's why I'm starting small. So Ruth, Esther, and then I kind of want to jump into the book of Job, because Job went through a lot, and Job loved the Lord even through all that hard times. So I want to read the book of Job next after Esther. Yeah, so I only made it to Isaiah 13, but I really do want to read the Old Testament. As for school, I am on academic warning. So what that means is I am only allowed to take 14 credits rather than like 16. It was just a lot for me. Growing up in public school, like, we always got to, not necessarily like cheat on things, but we got like study guides that we could use on the tests, and so I never had to study for anything in my life. Coming to college was something that, one, I didn't expect like to happen, and then two, I'm not allowed to use like study guides or anything like that. Like, studying is all me, you know, and so I never properly knew how to study. I never, just any of it. My first year, my freshman year, was hard. It was so bad. Like, I was like averaging like D's on every test, like barely making it through. I got through all my classes though, except for one. I failed history. I have to redo that, but I'm going to be taking my freshman class that I failed my junior year, fall semester. So that'll be next semester. Fall sophomore year, I failed another class. So this semester they were like, okay, you're gonna be on academic warning, we're gonna slow you down a bit. So I'm only taking 14 credits rather than like 16. So it's only like a class less that I'm taking, really. And at first I was like, so like, oh my goodness, like I'm gonna be behind. Like, I was just stressing about it. But I actually didn't need to stress about it at all, because I'm still on track to graduate, and I figured out how to make it work by only taking one more credit, so one more extra class, so 15 credits for my junior year, and then 13 credits my senior year. So I'm still on track to graduate. I have to do my part and stay consistent and getting good grades and stuff like that. And so I'm on academic warning, and it's honestly been such a blessing. I know, it's been such a blessing because I have been slowed down, but it's helped me out a lot. So now I'm averaging like B's on my tests, and it's been good. I mean, this last test I bombed and I got a D on it, but I was studying for a different test, so I had to pick and choose what I wanted to fail in, which I know is not great, but I got a B on the other test. So I never would have thought that I would have been capable for college, but it's just like a mindset thing, you know? Like, if you want to do something, you got to do it. You just got to put your mind to it and do it. And I don't have any D's, so that's good. I have a bunch of B's, and then the C's that I do have are like 78, 79.5, and I'm just like, okay, these need to get rounded up to B's. So I'm trying my very best to get those up a notch. That's kind of it. That's kind of just where I'm at in life. And I hope that, you know, whatever season of life that you're in, I hope that you're able to find the positive in it, because there's always a positive outlook to everything. I feel like, you know, like having a negative mindset is a choice, you know. Those emotions are real, those feelings are real, you know, especially when I'm having hard days. You know, we're gonna have to have hard days in order to experience life. You know, if every day could be easy, it would be, but then we wouldn't have so much experience with life. We wouldn't have the ability to have compassion with each other. And yeah, I just hope that throughout whatever season of life that you're in right now, that you're able to find the positive in it, or reach out to someone for help if you need it, or, you know, start doing your devos, or, you know, find out who God is, because I don't think I would feel as much joy and peace in my life as I do without knowing the Lord, or without his overflow of love pouring into my life throughout the people that he surrounds me by, or through his word and through reading it. So yeah, if you don't know the Lord, get to know him. It can be hard, but it's very rewarding, because I'm not saying it's easy, because it's not. I mean, I'm going through this season of life where it's just not easy, but I know that I'm not alone in doing it, and that's why I'm not afraid. Also, something that I thought was very good, that I remembered, is when I was talking to my friend Kate about, going into a test that I was really afraid about failing, because I needed to get a good grade on it in order to pass. She told me that there were classes, and she's now pregnant, okay? I just had to put that out there because that is just so exciting. But she was talking to me about how there was classes that she failed in nursing school, when she was becoming a nurse. Like, she retook those, now she's a nurse. She said that not once has any of her patients, talked to her and been like, have you ever failed a class, or anything like that. They just don't. I don't think anybody in your life is ever going to ask you, no matter what career path you're on, or if you're not in school, whatever you are doing, I don't think anyone's ever going to ask you, oh, have you failed in this, I don't think so. Yeah, and even if you do fail, you learn from it. I'm having to retake my classes, but I feel like it's just sticking so much more, and so there's nothing wrong with relearning things over and over again, or doing things and then failing and then learning from it. Something I started doing this winter that I absolutely love doing is snowboarding, and I'm not very good at it. But I think the reason why I love it so much is because it challenges me to do something that I never thought I was going to be able to do. I'm literally just on a board and moving down the mountain. The concept of it is just, it's so silly. But in order to learn things, you just have to do it, Something Hanan always says is to do it even if you're scared. And I honestly really love that, because it's trying new things is scary, and going into things not knowing the outcome is scary, but not doing it is even scarier. But that's just something I really love, that he always says all the time, to do it even if you're scared. And so, yeah, there's nothing wrong with failing, you fail and then you learn from it. You fail, you try it again and again and again until you get it, because you're never going to be good at something if you don't try, or if you don't put effort into it. So, learning to snowboard has been one of the most rewarding things in my life, though, because it's something I love doing now, and even though I'm not very good at it, it's just something that I learned to do, and without being willing to learn, or set my fear aside, I wouldn't have been able to do it now. And I'm not very good, but I like to think that I can get down the mountain pretty fast. Well, not fast, but I can get down the mountain, without being scared. And I look back at videos and I'm like, that is not fast at all. But to me, it feels fast, And yeah, I don't know, but just being able to learn something that I was afraid of doing is just very rewarding. And I have fallen many of times, and I have cried getting down the mountain, but now it's something I can do and have fun doing, even though it was something I was scared of doing. My point with that is just, I failed at it at first, and there's still moments where I fail at it. I don't want to talk about this because my mom's like, you're never snowboarding again. But I fell really bad my last time snowboarding, and it hurt. It hurt so bad. I still hurt from it to this day. But it's still something that I love doing, and it's not something I'm gonna stop doing just because I fell, So that's kind of my whole point with this. It's just like, you're gonna fail at things, but keep doing it, you know? So yeah. I hope that you find the positive to get through what you're going through, and know that it's only for a season. And yeah, that's kind of it. Okay, love you. Bye.